So back in the body, so let's create a header, AD header, and then I'm going to have an A2 with a class of title in it, and I'm going to give it a background of blue. Okay. So now in the body, so a normal input form will look something like this. So just write an input here, and then that is how it looks like. So to use airDesign's input form, we'd have to first come out with an input container. So we are going to create a div with the class of AD input. And then you put the input in it. So that is how it looks like. So that is an input form in airDesign. So let me break it up so we can see it. Okay. So the default, and then for airDesign. So we expect an input form to be in the card. So quickly, let's put the input form in the card with a background color of white. So now it's more visible. We are seeing the form well here. So we can add a label to it too. So let's first start with the placeholder. Put the placeholder in it. So enter your name. So each time you click it, you see that there's an underlying color there. By default, that color is prime. That's airDesign's prime. So carefully looking at it, we see that they are curved at the vertices or the edges. So we can, which means we also have button types here, which is AD block and also AD round. So if you want to add a label to it, so you can add a normal label, just a label, and then you just write in it surname, and they wouldn't need the placeholder probably there. So this is a label. You can add an AD label to the input form, and then you notice that, so without AD label and with AD label, change this. All right, so we can say add. So this are so let's go back to the tutorial. So you can also have a placeholder in this, and of course you can have a label with the AD label. Okay, all right. So that's the default they put, and that's how we do it in airDesign. So you can decide to change the color. So yeah. So depending on the color scheme and the template you're using, you can decide to change the border color when the input is focused. So let's quickly create a div. Okay. So we can add a to title. You can say input with icon. So this, let's consider this to be a username. So you can quickly create that. So we can use a font awesome user here. So when I add an AD icon to the input, and now fix it. So the icon has been span. And here you can also add a placeholder to the input. And let's say enter username. All right. You can also add a button to it too. So that's with an icon. So you can have a can change this icon to, let's say, Facebook, and then when I say log into Facebook, can also do h2.title. I can say input with button. So let's come in here, and remember that when you want to add an input, you first create a div, and then with a class of AD input. And if you want to have a label, you have to add a class of AD label to it. So to add a button, like the items, you have to add AD button in full, AD button to the AD input. Then now you can say connect here, and that's the button. We can change the colors of the button if you want. So let's say BTN dark, or also make it AD round. You can also add an icon here too. So let's consider, let's say S. So we're going to create one that we want to have a button and also an icon in the input form. So a span and then an icon with a class of FAFA search, and button would go. I have to add AD icon to it to fix it. Well, I'm probably looking forward to fixing it so that you wouldn't need to declare an AD icon to fix it in the input. So the moment you declare a span with an icon with it, it will automatically fit. And that is considered in the updates that will be rolling up soon. So I have a placeholder here, and then I can write the search. Okay. So next, let's talk about let's talk about types. So quickly, let's create a day with a card, and then give it a tutor title. So then I'll say, sorry, you have to go for input types. Next, let's go to input types. So background color of white, then the div with a class of nd input, and then this is called Zen coding. If you also have a plugin called Emmet, you can use this one. So you can say ad round or ad block. These are part of the key classes in airDesign. So first of all, let me just duplicate the default inputs that I've created. Then placeholder of default input, and this input with the block input. So at the container ad input, I'm going to add ad block to it. Now with ad block, we already know that it makes the design blocky, so it takes off all the curvy edges or vertices from that particular element. So let me zoom in so you to appreciate what ad block is really doing here. So this is we have straight, and then that's other one curved. So that is ad block of. So let's also duplicate it, and then instead of ad block, you're going to do ad round this time. So I'll say ad round. All right, and that's a round button. So that's how they look like. So we have round, and you can also have an icons in it. So let's quickly do it again. So you can say class of, so now can I add ad icon to it to fix it? Then I can also add a button here too. So we have to add ad button info. Then after the input, we can now put the button element with a class of adbtn. Then I'll say go here. All right. So if I want it to be capital letters, I just have to change the text to upper. So text hyphen upper. You can also spread it, but I didn't talk about spread, but let me just talk about it here. It's, increase the letter spacing, so you can add AD spread to other elements if you want, to A2 elements, and you can also give it a button color. All right. So that is that is so background color white. So input, so what you mean by input color is when you click on an input, the color that displays by default, it is the prime color. So you can say input so the color that appears down there is the prime color. So that's the prime color that's appearing. All right. So what if I want to make it pink? I can say input and then pink here. When I click on it now, it's now the pink color. So by default it's prime color, and now I can continue to yellow. Okay, and then the other colors there, you have tea green, we also have dark, also have white. So white, because of the background color, you don't see it properly. So instead of the background color being white, I'm going to change it to dark so that I can see it. So those are the focus colors. So you have to do this one for the individual inputs. But in the case where you have plenty input in a form, and if you want to change them to a different theming color, that way you would have to place them in a form. So you can have a form, then the form can place the input there. Then I'll just quickly create a class AD label here. I'll say username here. And also do password. So let me quickly comment. Okay, I want to change the text. First add the class here. And it's going to be AD form. Then I can now add the input color that I wanted to do. So you know that the color now changes. So without the AD form, nothing happens. So you need to have the input in an AD form before you can change the color now. So yellow. This is happening because all the input exists in the AD form. AD, yeah. So they are affected by the color that is set for the form. You can change the color to other colors, pink, tea green, and to quickly demonstrate how effective this is, let me quickly show you a project I'm working on. So that is how input form is. It's not that complex at all. Very easy to implement in your projects and websites. So that's a normal input form. And label is with an icon and a placeholder. A label and an icon. A label and a button. So the button is AD block, so it's sharp at the end. That's a round design. And you can also have select in it. So quickly let's put the select or combo box in an AD input. So quickly I can do gender here to select. Let's put male and female here. And the background color is white, so can make it round too. So AD is round on the AD inputs. So you can go to dark. Also do a text area too. So let me quickly take these guys off so that I can come up to view. So that's a text area. I also make it round to add an AD round to it or AD block. We also have range and the checkbox and a radio and a toggle to a toggle. See log. So this is a very simple one. And this is a AD round. And I'm using an icon here. I'm using an outline here. And the colors also changes to, you notice. That's so nice. And that's how powerful the AD form with the input class can do to the input elements to change the class. That's all I wanted to show you. All right. Okay. So So let's go to range. So input type is range. Okay, so that's how it looks like. So let's do a toggle. So hit with a title. So hit the input, then the input, then the type is going to be checkbox. So by default, this is how a checkbox will look like here. It's not really fancy. So to use a toggle, so you have to add a label after the input, then give it an ID. So this is gender. So with a class of AD toggle, okay. If the ID matches the attribute of the for here, that's why it works now. You have to fix it here. Okay. By the way, that's a toggle. You just ignore it for now. To be fixed. Let's add a class of sorry for this view, but probably have to make a tutorial on it again to show that this is fixed. So that is a toggle. It's also a checkbox. So instead of toggle, you can say AD checkbox. And for around the radio button, radio input, you can say AD radio. So the radio 2 is similar to it, to AD radio. I also have to fix it. There's some issues here. Okay, you see there normal checkbox or toggle which will be fixed, and also a radio. Okay. So normal fonts, the inputs, and you add your input in it. I can also have a placeholder in here. And if you want to use a label, and also add an icon to the form, and then there's a placeholder here. And you can also add a button to the input. So you also have an icon and a button to it. Then we also went through types. So to make a sharp edge or a vertex, and you also get a rounded design, AD block and AD round. And you can also add buttons to and icons to them too. And before icon. So checkbox toggle and then radio here. So we have